The reason they call it the narcissist Hoover, the reason they call it a Hoover, it's quite funny because it comes from the vacuum cleaner Hoover, which sucks, right? That's what vacuum cleaners do. They suck. So the narcissist is kind of sucking you back in. Depending on how lonely you get and how depressing it gets to be by yourself, especially during the holidays, you tend to convince yourself that a connection is better than no connection. A toxic connection is better than no connection. A highly abusive, dangerous connection is better than no connection. Welcome back, warriors, to another indelible episode of Psychopath Exposure. My name is Kira, and today, as you know, it's November, just finished Thanksgiving, holidays continue, the holidays are upon us, and you know what happens during the holidays, and that's that good old holiday Hoover that the narcissist likes to try and successfully accomplish. And I want to talk about it, even though you've probably heard it 100,000 times, depending on how many times you review and rewatch videos like this. But the holiday Hoover happens even if you're not a so-called cluster B, narcissist, borderline, psychopath, whatever. If you go back and you just look back at the history of relationships, maybe that you've come in and out of, friends, stories that you've heard and shared growing up, right? What is it about the holidays that just softens people up, right? And if things are not working out for them, if the grass is not greener on the other side, you start ruminating. No, maybe not so much ruminating, but you start reminiscing of the good times. You remember, oh, gee, golly, last year I was with them and we were drinking eggnog and we were wrapping presents together and we built that train set around the tree. We also put the tree together. And we took all these Christmas vacations and we did all these pretty things, and things were just like a movie, just like a Disney fairy tale. And now we're here alone, discarded, right? And you just can't help but reminisce the good times, and you're just wallowing in the depression, hoping that you're gonna get that text, that call from the narcissist. And this is, of course, this is for those that haven't done the work to get out. These are the victims that are unfortunately still trauma bonded to their abuser, usually the new victims, right? The new blood, so to speak. You don't understand. This is your first time going through this roller coaster, and of course you went through it and it sucked. But somehow in the back of your head, no matter how many weeks or months passed, in the back of your head you were like, I'm probably gonna hear back from them during the holidays, and that little voice stays there, kind of dormant, it kind of gives you a little bit of hope. There's a little, you know how I talk about the poison drip, when the narcissist poison drips you little by little unto the point that you don't realize you're boiling in a pot of water because they've slowly been turning up the heat. And the poison drip is the same thing. You just adding a little bit of poison to your glass of water every day, a little bit of poison, and before you know it, you're completely poisoned. You don't notice it because it's not drastic, it's just one drop at a time. As I say, one drop at a time, remember guys that healing from this type of abuse happens one day at a time, one moment at a time. You can't expect instant gratification from this. You gotta give it time. The no contact, one day at a time, one day at a time, one day at a time. It accumulates. Eventually you have months and years, as in my case, years. Eventually it turns into eons, right? And then it's just gonna be another lifetime ago. another story of the past. You know, not just a chapter, just a book that you no longer read anymore, that you passed along. You went to the book fair and you gave it away or you sold it. So just stick with it, all right? But back on topic, it's that little piece of hope when you're holding on to the expected holiday narcissistic Hoover. Believe it or not, it's releasing a little bit of dopamine, maybe a little drop of dopamine, that no matter how bad things are, you know, hey, well, you know, come November, come December, it's gonna happen. And sometimes you get in a better mood as those days approach. And you get a little happy anxiety, yes, happy anxiety, because you actually believe that delusion. You believe that it's coming. And yes, a lot of times it comes. A lot of times it comes, but see, you don't want it to come. You don't want this thing to happen, because this does not lead to a healthy quality of life. This does not lead anywhere but back to the same old mental prison and the same demise that you suffered the first time around, or the first 6 times around, depending on how many times you've played this game and repeated the process and repeated the cycle. Why does the narcissist wait until the holidays to do this? Well, again, if things aren't working out for them, if the grass isn't always greener, if this cluster B personality disorder is not as advanced as a psychopathic one, right? Some of these personality disorders do display some sort of emotion and feelings, all right? And just because your abuser suffers from personality disorders or multiple personality disorders or addictions does not mean that they can't think and that they don't remember. Now, some of the deranged sociopaths out there, their memories are warped and they believe their own BS, but they can still form thoughts, right? So of course they're gonna convince themselves that, oh, if I just pick up the phone and call what's his name or what's her face, I'm gonna be able to weasel my way back in their life. See, the reason they call it the narcissist Hoover, the reason they call it a Hoover, it's quite funny because it comes from the vacuum cleaner Hoover, which sucks, right? That's what vacuum cleaners do. They suck. So the narcissist is kind of sucking you back in to their dark world and their dark web. So why would you want something like that? So let's explore the reason, not only why the narcissist does it and why it's so effective, but why does the victim of the narcissist abuse, they entertain it? My theory is, from the victim's point of view, is a lack of connection, right? As humans, we all need love and connection. We all need a tribe, to be part of a tribe, to have some sort of purpose. If you feel, no matter how young or old you are, if you feel that you lack connections, depending on how lonely you get and how depressing it gets to be by yourself, especially during the holidays, you tend to convince yourself that a connection is better than no connection. A toxic connection is better than no connection. A highly abusive, dangerous connection is better than no connection. And if you really listen to what I just said, that sounds horrible. Logically, it's better to have no connection, and if anything, no connection with a romantic partner, but you can have a connection with yourself, with God, with your higher power, whatever understanding you have of the Creator. And you can be fulfilled, enjoying everything that life has to offer, because life is beautiful. Life is what you make of it. If you choose, and I do say choose because we all have choices, if you choose to spend your day rolling around, swimming in the pool, the cesspool of this darkness, of what the narcissist did, I can't believe they did that. How could they do that? How long were they doing that for? I can't believe they got away with it. I'm not going to let them get away with it. They're probably happier with the new supply. Look at them now. They're going to get married. And now they're love bombing them. And they're falling for it. Oh my God, and it looks so real. But now they're doing the things that we used to do. Or now they're doing the things I wanted to do, but they never did with me, but they're doing it with the new supply. See, that's circus. If you stay there for too long, you become part of the freak show. You have a choice to I just lost my voice. I have a choice to drink water and try that again. You have a choice to let all this nonsense go. Easier said than done, but I can show you how. You have a choice. You can choose to live in that freak show of a circus, or you can start finding a connection with yourself and with healthier people, even if it takes however long it's going to take to meet healthier people and to form healthier connections. But to never, never compromise your self-worth, your self-esteem, your self-love, your dignity for a toxic connection, because toxic connections lead to toxic situations and they end up short-circuiting the motherboard. But that's why it happens. And that little dopamine drip that's looming like the slow buzz of the refrigerator, that it's back there. You expect that Hoover is going to come, especially if it happened before. If you've already been through on this merry-go-round more than once, the brain is naturally going to anticipate, hey, this is what happened last November, December, so this is probably what's going to happen again, right? Because that's life. We learn from experience and we understand, oh, do this, this happens. And when I do this, that happens. That's how we navigate through life. That's how we learn, right? You step on the gas, the car goes. You step on the brakes, it stops, unless you need new brakes. Simple, right? And yet, as simple as that is, why do we make the same mistakes over and over and over again with narcissistic, abusive, psychopathic scoundrels? They cheated on you before. What makes you think they're not going to cheat on you again? You gave them another chance and they cheated on you again. Why wouldn't they cheat on you the third time? Now you gave them another chance and they made all these empty promises again. And you feel good about yourself because you're thinking, well, there's no way in hell they're going to do it a third time. And then they do it a third time, and a fourth, and a fifth. And it just goes on and on and on. If someone does something to you, if someone betrays you to the extent that someone with narcissistic personality disorder tends to do, what they're known to do, and you double down on them, you can't keep blaming the narcissist at this point, because the narcissist is going to keep doing what the narcissist does, and they're going to do it to whoever lets them in. They're going to do it to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. You or I are not special. If you thought that, hey, they may have done that to the other person, but they're not going to do it to me, how did that work out for you? We've all been there. We all think we're special. We're not. We're just a speck, a pixel in the universe. But of course, without you, the whole universe will collapse, because you're just as important in the entirety. But you're not that special where someone like this is going to all of a sudden develop a conscience and develop the ability to actually love you in the same way that you love them, and that they're going to be trustworthy. When shit hits the fan, what, they're not going to steal from you? They're not going to lie to you to get their way? They're not going to lie to cover up a lie, to cover up a lie, to cover up a lie. That's not going to change. But you can change. You can make a different choice. You can make a totally different decision when the opportunity presents itself, because it usually does. If it doesn't, that's actually a good thing. If you never hear back from your narcissistic abuser, that's the best thing that could happen to you. And let me rephrase that. That's the best thing that could happen for you. It really is. It's great. And, you know, they only come back because they know that they can get back in. When the narcissist knows that there's no way in hell that they're going to be allowed back, that there's no conversation that's going to happen, you blew the privilege to speak with me. You blew it. Narcissist, you blew it. That's not going to happen. Maybe in an alternate multiverse, maybe in your grand delusion, in your warped mind, maybe in your dreams, not happening in this lifetime. When they know that that's the case, you're not going to hear from them again. If you do, then you're dealing with something far worse than a narcissist. Far worse. And I've made tons of videos about that. I'm going to continue making videos exposing scumbags like that. Because that's beyond narcissistic personality disorder. That's usually a really deranged mental sickness accumulated with other nuanced problems, addictions, all sorts of other traumas, obsessions and things, right? That's a worse monster to deal with. But a narcissist that knows, hey, there's no more supply here. It's empty. They're not coming back. They're not. So rejoice if that happened. Rejoice. Now, why does the narcissist want to come back during the holidays? Why is it that they try? And it's not just coming back. It's just touching base with you to test the waters. Sometimes it's just to feed their own ego. They had no intentions on coming back and dating you again. They had no intentions on even having a cup of coffee again. It was just the old, hey, just wanted to see how you're doing. Hope you're good. Hope you're safe. Hope your family's safe. And whatever, but that's enough. For a trauma bonded victim, that is enough. That's like, whew, it's like all your problems melt away, and it's like, wow, there they are. And you just get this joy. You get this joy. And it's like, this is your abuser. This is the person that put you in this state of hell. How do they have the ability to all of a sudden cure you from this? And it's not a real cure. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. It's, again, the expectation, the excitement, the dopamine that you're getting from the knowledge that you're about to have your fix, your drug fix of choice. And there it is waiting for you. And it's coming back. And you think that they're just going to come right back on a platter for you. Well, yes, sometimes they do, but that's part of their patterns. Sometimes they come back with their tail between their legs. Sometimes they come back bearing gifts, promises. I'm sorries. I've changed. You were right. I worked on myself. I'm going to church now. That's the funniest when a psychopath, abusive narcissist that's, just shunned any type of spiritual connection or God, atheist, all of a sudden they're going to church and they think that's going to change all the damage that they did. Who are you trying to fool, dumbass? Don't buy into that. That's just nonsense. That's horse shit, horse manure. But they are so. It's the lack of lack of conscience that they're able to just spit all this garbage out, and they respect you so little, if even at all. by saying those things. They think that you're actually going to believe them and take them back. Like when I see nonsense like that, it to me, just to me, it's funny. Like I laugh like if I'm watching a stand-up comic and I'm just cracking up. It's just funny, and then whoop, I get distracted with something better, anything really, and there goes, that's it. My attention's on something better than that. That was just a 5-second entertainment. As I look at this clown, all right, next. That's it. Because when you're not trauma bonded, when you're not so attached to these people anymore, when you understand beyond logic and emotion, okay, logic and emotion, they have no power over you anymore. It's like when you stop eating McDonald's because you just realize that no matter how cheap it is, it's bad food, the quality's just terrible, just the way everything's made, how it's processed, the additives that they do, that they add, what it does to your body, how it makes you feel, not how you feel when you're thinking about eating it, how you feel after. When you're able to actually reject that and just be grossed out by it, then you could walk into the restaurant with your little brother or your little cousin, and the smell of the French fries is not gonna, you're not gonna crave it. You're gonna be grossed out. It's like psychology. It's just psychology, and sometimes it takes this type of not brainwashing, but it's like neuroplasticity. It takes that type of intricate work for you to be grossed out and disgusted and just be completely not interested in anything that this lying, cheating, deranged, sociopathic, narcissistic loser has to say, has to think, promises you, any accolades they throw in your face, any crocodile-teared apology. None of that means anything to you. It's like they're saying it and you're in front of them and they're saying it and you're just looking at them and it's like, are you done? All right, I gotta go. Like, it's kind of like a street salesman or those people at the mall, the kiosks. They're talking to anybody that's gonna listen. Anybody trying to sell their little nail thing that they always sell, or some new cell phone plan or some crap. They used to get my attention. I used to stand there like a sucker thinking, how am I gonna tell this person no? Or if it was a pretty girl, I was like, great, there goes my $20 that I brought, for whatever else I wanted to buy, because I just didn't know how to tell the pretty girl no. Another lifetime ago. Now it's like, you want to talk to me? Come walk with me. I'm going somewhere. I'm not stopping for you. I don't owe you anything. I don't know you. I don't care to talk to you. I don't care what you have to sell. I'm not interested. No, I don't want to hear your sales pitch because I'm not interested in your sales pitch either. I'm not interested in you. You see that mindset? I've got a million other things to do that are more important than you. That's how you have to reframe your mind, because at the beginning it's just, oh my God, the narcissist did this. Let me tell you all about it. And they're doing this, and they did this, and now they're seeing that same person that I knew. I know. I remember that. I was stuck in there for a while. But when I learned what was actually happening, when I started working with my mentor, when I started reading the books many years ago, there was no I didn't try to argue it. I was like, that makes perfect sense. That's exactly what I went through. That's the pattern. There it is. Holy shit. I can't believe this. But you can't make this stuff up. There it is in writing. This author has never met me. My mentor had never met me. How are you telling my story? How? Well, there it is. There's no joke. All right. What do I got to do? Well, for starters, you got to stop intaking the poison. Because if you keep putting poison in your body, then how can you detox from the poison? So you go no contact. What does no contact mean? It means no fucking contact. You're not going to have a sit down. You're not going to have a discussion over the dinner table. You're not going to bring a notebook and start listing pros and cons and what I brought to the table and what you brought to the table and let's discuss where it went wrong and what was my part, what was your part. You're not going to have these type of things with narcissists. If you get into that situation, you're being manipulated again. You're being manipulated again. It needs to be this thing where it's like, oh, you guys ever heard of a sunk cost in business? A sunk cost is just whatever money you invested on something, whether that's like if we're talking about stocks in the stock market, whatever you invested in, whether it went up, whether it crashed, it doesn't matter. That money's gone, especially if it crashed, it's gone. It's done, like you lost it. It makes no sense to try and recover it. It makes no sense to waste any more energy dwelling about it. Like it's already gone. You can lose more if you keep being stupid. It's like being in a casino and you lost all this money gambling on whatever your choice of machine or game. You lost it. If you try to make that money back, chances are, because the casino doesn't lose, chances are you're going to lose your house. It's designed that way. You lose by design. So you go in there, you lost $200. Well, that's all I was going to spend. That money's gone. I had a good time. It was fun. It didn't work out. Time to bounce. That's it. You get into a relationship. You gave it your all. You got scammed. That sucks. But what are you going to do? Are you going to chase them to a third world country trying to get your money back? Right? Trying to like tell them, I know what you did. You're going to fly all the way to Yemen. I found you. I found you. I know what you did. You can't do this to me. Like, wow. How much did it cost you to fly across the world and to track them and to find them just for what? Makes no sense, right? It's just beyond ridiculous. All this time you could have flown probably to a place that you always dreamt of flying to. Maybe you could have met someone there and it could have been some love story, right? Something, another Disney fairy tale. Who knows? But it's a sunk cost. Let it go. Let it go so that you can work on actually healing. Because you're never going to heal if you keep picking the scabs. Doesn't happen. So, yeah, the narcissists, they're like, hey, this might be a good time, show my face. This might be a good time to test the waters, see if they're still mad. You still mad, baby? You still mad? You can't be, you know you can't be mad at me, girl. Come on, you can't be mad at me. Psh, come on. Remember when we used to do this and that? They start sweet-talking you like that, and you just melt like a stick of butter. And meanwhile, like, there's a girl in the shower that they just, finished with, and they're just doing that because it gives them supply. And just walk right into the trap. And if you do, well, you're going to get exactly what you got. You're not going to get anything different. And do not make the mistake of thinking that you can navigate the situation again because you've been through it before. And you tell yourself, okay, now it's going to be different this time because now I know how they operate. Now I know that they're a narcissist. Now I know their games now. Now I'm going to get in there and I'm going to run the show, right? I'm going to do this my way. And unless you're a narcissist too, you have feelings, you have emotions, all right? And they're compromised. And believe me, these people, just like addicts, coke addicts, alcoholics, they have a way of convincing the untrained person that they're clean and that they're in recovery and that they haven't touched the stuff. If you know this shit, if you've been around this shit for years, you know when they're lying. You can see it in their eyes. You can see it in their behavior. Their behavior, it's the behavior of an addict that's still using. You guys know. You guys know, because I read the comments and I know you guys are going through this shit. Narcissist is the same way. The personality disorder, plays itself out exactly the same way. There's a little nuance in between, but it's always the same end result. And that's why the victims of this abuse, at the end, they're left feeling like a vegetable. They're left in complete shock of, how did this happen? How could this person have gotten away with this? Because in my last relationship or in my last marriage, I didn't put up with this. I threw that person out. How come this person, who's not even that attractive, who doesn't have their shit together, who has nothing to offer me or you, how is it that I keep going back and I keep buying their BS? That's what happens when you get involved with someone with this personality disorder. That is what comes with it. That's the side of McDonald's fries that you get. And if you don't have strong enough boundaries and self-worth and dignity and self-esteem and all that stuff, then it's going to be easier for the narcissist to manipulate you. Because see, the betrayal and the red flags, all these things were there from the beginning. You just didn't see them because you didn't know what to look for. How is it that now you see it? How is it that, you know, most of you guys that are working with me on my coaching program, you tell me, Kira, oh my God, like I can tell you 20 red flags right now that were there from the first week. On the second week, they cheated on me and they packed their stuff and they disappeared and they ghosted me. And it's like, well, isn't that funny? Week 1, week 2, huh? And you saw that and you took them back. See, that at that moment, that's when it was easy to get away. That's when you had no attachments. That's when you weren't bonded to them yet. You weren't in love with them yet. You didn't have a house with them yet. You didn't have children with them yet. You hadn't invested in things yet. You hadn't traveled across the world, for those that are lucky enough to do that. You hadn't done that with them yet. But now you did. And now it's harder. And let me tell you something. If you get rid of them now, it's easier now than in 6 months. It's easier now than next year. As hard as it may be right now, trust me, it's easier now than next month. And if they're trying to hoover you, if they're trying to come back, it's going to be easier to reject the call, block the number, block the email, block the social media, do not engage, do not respond, do not give them any time of day, do not waste your breath, do not speak with their friends, do not ask their friends what they're doing, do not ask their friends or your friends what they're posting, do not spy on them, do not do anything. It will be easier to do that now than later. Because believe me, you go spying and you're gonna see them flaunting whoever they're dating. Maybe they're not dating them now, but then you scroll down a few weeks and you see, oh, look, they conveniently left that picture from that vacation getaway that I always wanted to go to, and look, there they are. Oh, whose hair is that on the side? Well, that's a nice shoulder. Whose shoulder is that? Hey, wait a second. Who took that picture? I don't see you with you. Who took that picture? But that's the place we always talked about going. You're not gonna go there by yourself. You see, that's gonna start happening. You don't want to see things like that. Let it go. Let it go. This is not for you. This person was not for you. If they were, it would have been easier. People go through shit. Couples fight. There's challenges. You change jobs. Schedules change, you know, and it's hard. The economy changes, and, you know, you got to work, got to get a different job. You're trying to survive. You're trying to build something. Relationships take work, right? But they take work building structures. They take work building, you know, the future that you want together. You shouldn't be working on someone's personality disorder or their addictions. You shouldn't be working on trying to learn how to forgive someone that's been cheating on you behind your back for months and months and months and months. That's not the type of work that you want to be doing in a relationship. That's broken. All that work is futile. It's work that you shouldn't be doing. It's like you're spinning. Have you ever heard of terms when a car is, you're spinning your wheels, you're going nowhere fast? You're doing all this hard work for nothing. It's going to amount to nothing. The result will be your demise, your doom. This is not going to work the way you think. This is not going to go the way you think. All right? So beware of that holiday narcissist Hoover. Block, 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 block. No contact. Stick with the no contact. I don't care if it hurts. I don't care what withdrawals you're feeling. Do not pick up the phone. Do not entertain them. And somehow they get through. Just hang up. Move on. Do whatever else that you need. But by all means, do not go back to the same person that put you in this mess to begin with. That is not your friend. That is not your ally. That person is your enemy. Okay? So thanks for watching till the very end, guys. If you'd like to work directly with me on my coaching program, feel free to reach out, and we'll see if we can set something up. In the meantime, share the video. Share the video with whoever you feel needs to hear this message. Share the video with those friends that are willing to listen and want to learn more about the situation and what you're going through. Share the video on your social media, help spread the word, and click that like button if you got some value out of this video, and don't forget to subscribe. Click the little bell icon so that you get notified when I drop a new video. And if you guys have time, I'd like to hear the stories of a holiday Hoover, whether it was this year or whether it was last year, because I know these things go on for a long time. And if you're one of those that fell for the trap, but then when it happened again, you beat them and you beat it and you didn't go back, definitely share that. Because I think it's important for survivors to read not just all the bad things that they do, but how you can heal and rise above this and conquer it despite the bad things that they do, despite the numerous attempts, Hoover attempts that they make. Despite that, you can overcome this, you can change your life. I read a comment not so long ago about someone who's been married for over 20 years already, and the stupid psycho keeps, harassing them from time to time. They'll call from a different phone number, they'll send someone else to call, and it's like, what a complete loser. And the lady's like, we're enjoying our life. Like, this is just pathetic. It's silly that it's still going on, but think about what kind of a miserable life the other person is living, that after 20 years they're still obsessed with I'm gonna contact you, I'm gonna contact you, I'm not gonna go away. Idiots. Anyway, guys, I love you. Be good, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. My name is Kita. This is Psychopath Exposure. Catch you guys next time. Peace.